are 18-4. Then on Sports World, undefeated middleweights James Schuler and James the Heat Kinshin. And full contact karate as Bad Brad Hefton defends his title. And then it's golf. The Isuzu Andy Williams San Diego Open. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to our NBC Sports Day. We'll be getting to Duke and Notre Dame college basketball in just a minute. But last night, the pro debut of Doug Flutie, after all the hype, all the money, first two passes he throws get intercepted. Last night in Orlando, exhibition crowd of 33,000. New Jersey playing Orlando. That's the former Washington Federal team. Here is Doug Flutie's first professional pass for the record. It's intercepted by Jeff Gabrielson of Orlando. And look at the team reaction. You think they just won the game. Now Flutie's second pass. Same result. Intercepted by Gabrielson. What a start. You knew things could only get better. Now, despite the interceptions, New Jersey won it 24-14. Here's the game's first score. Fumble recovery by linebacker John Joyce rumbled 78 yards. For Flutie on the night, 7 of 18 passing, 174 yards, no touchdowns, no miracles.
I took my lumps in the beginning, and it was a shaky start. And, I didn't expect to come out and have miracles the first time out on the field, but I took my lumps, I kept my poise a little bit, and I bounced back. Overall, I was pretty happy with the way things went, and, I made it a little bit tougher on myself because of the shaky start.
And he did get better. USFL regular season begins next week. Now, college basketball last night, #1 St. John's made it 16 in a row, 84-63 over Pittsburgh. They ran at will against the Panthers. Here's the alley-oop. Jackson Walter Berry had 17 points. On the fast break, Mark Jackson goes to Chris Mullen. Mullen had 21. So, St. John's goes to 21-1. Luke Carnesecca's sweater goes to a perfect 10. He's now 10-0 with it. Now, tomorrow here on NBC, St. John's puts its longest winning streak in the nation on the line. They go for 17 straight, hosting DePaul, 2 o'clock Eastern time here on NBC. In Los Angeles yesterday, hurdler Edwin Moses happy he was cleared of those soliciting prostitution charges. Now remember, after basketball, boxing, and karate, it's golf. The halfway leaders of the San Diego Open, Gary Hallberg and Peter Oosterhuis. Okay, busy day coming up. Let's get going with college basketball. We have Dick and Al standing by at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. We'll see you at halftime, everybody.
The Checker Dome, St. Louis, Missouri, 1978, the NCAA semifinals. Duke and Notre Dame, the Irish and white in their first Final Four appearance, succumbed to the Duke firepower. Banks, Spinarkle, and all-time scorer Mike Jaminski. The Notre Dame maestro Digger Phelps defeated 90-86. Today, 7 years later, Digger's Irish are in a bid to make the NCAA tournament once again, and they're involved in a critical late-season match against Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils, who are 18-4. They've not been beaten outside the Atlantic Coast Conference, and they're led by a brilliant junior guard, Johnny Dawkins, a 360-degree player. Duke is ranked 4th in the nation. The Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the scene as the Irish and Blue Devils meet again.
NBC Sports presents the best of college basketball. Today, from the Byrne Arena in New Jersey, it's the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame versus the Duke Blue Devils. Today's game is brought to you by exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob. By your Renault Jeep dealer, who challenges you to compare before you buy. By the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. And by Canon. So advanced, Canon is the leader in 35mm photography.
This is Dick Enberg with Al McGuire in the Meadowlands. Duke and Notre Dame coming up.
Some make greatness look simple, like superstar Larry Bird and the Canon T70. Covering Bird with the simplicity of touch button controls, countering his quickness with automatic film advance. Capturing any shot with the versatility of 3 program modes, the Canon T70. And it's so simple.
Watch the bird.
The Canon T70, it makes the great shots simple.
Byrne Arena in the Meadowlands, and a crowd of 15,000 to see Duke University's Blue Devils against the Irish of Notre Dame. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Al McGuire. And why, Coach, is this an important game?
Well, it's important for Duke and Notre Dame because they both recruit the same type of student athlete, so it gives them bragging rights. Mainly important for Notre Dame, Dick. They got to get a couple of scalps of the top 20 in the country, so the NCAA tournament committee looks favorable on them.
All right, the Irish are 14-6, and other than a win at UCLA, and of course that wasn't as important maybe in the total rankings as Digger Phelps may have felt at the moment. They really haven't had that major victory, and Duke represents an opportunity. The Blue Devils are 18-4, and they're ranked 4th in the nation. What's the matchup that intrigues you most?
The matchup is the guard position. Amaker, if he shuts down David Rivers, it'll be a blowout. If he cannot shut down David Rivers, Notre Dame can win at the wire.
Two lightning quick guards in the backcourt for Duke and Notre Dame, and we'll have the introduction of the starting lineups, the Devils and the Irish, right after these words.
In Maryland.
The Duke Blue Devils, certainly the favorite in this match. Mark Allery, all ACC forward last year. Dan Mahar from the Canadian Olympic team. Big Jay Billis in the middle. Tommy Amaker, sophomore, and lightning quick. And Johnny Dawkins, their leading scorer. For the captain, Mike Krzyzewski, who has matched against Digger Phelps. Krzyzewski just celebrating his 38th birthday this week in his 5th year at Duke. Digger Phelps in his 14th season. He wants to get the Irish in the NCAA, and here's his starting lineup today. Without a center, they go with the 3 forwards. Jim Dolan, who's from New Jersey, about 60 miles from this arena. Donald Royal from New Orleans. Ken Barlow, the leading scorer for Notre Dame. David Rivers, the freshman. Right here, he can almost walk home after the game today, and Joe Price completes the Irish starting 5. And we're underway. Duke in blue and the Irish in yellow. No shot clock in the game, as David Rivers brings it in for Notre Dame. Matched against Amaker. That's the tandem that Al McGuire finds most intriguing. Outside, it's Ken Barlow. And the rebound to Billis.
Tough opening shot. You want to take the first shot within 3 feet of the basket to pick up a foul.
Mark Allery, over a 60% shooter, and Dawkins can't hit. Rivers brings it down. Rivers unkindly rattles out, and Royal partially blocked. Mahar to Dawkins. Duke's a high-scoring club. They're averaging over 80 points a game. That would put them in the top 15 in the nation.
Notre Dame starts out in the 1-2-2.
Inside, and Billis has it taken away. Stripped by Dolan.
Duke's in a man-to-man.
Allery working on Barlow. Joe Price gets a pick. Ball just won't fall for either club. No score. Minute and 20 seconds into the game.
Basketball is not one from the outside. Go into the bucket. Go into the paint. Top sit down this end because they're in the zone. Duke is playing man-to-man. It's a 1-2-2 zone. It goes to 2-3. There's the 2-3 zone right now.
Allery scores, and he is fouled. It is a neutral site, but a Duke crowd here at the Meadowlands, and it's a rather interesting note that 20% of the student body at Duke University down in Durham, North Carolina, is from metropolitan New York. In fact, for the first time ever, they have more New York students there than those from North Carolina. Allery gives the Blue Devils a 3-0 lead.
Pressure up court. Get the ball into David's hands. Okay, clear out now.
Rivers from Jersey City, St. Anthony's High School, just a few miles away.
Double stack down low, Dick.
The Irish do not have the firepower of Duke, and they have to work for that in-close basket, the second chance basket. Royal sets up Dolan, but a whistle before the play. A foul on Amaker of Duke.
I thought the first 2 minutes of the game that the Fighting Irish were taking their shots too soon, trying to score from outside.
We heard Mike Krzyzewski in practice yesterday for Duke say 4 passes before you shoot, at least 4. Did you ever have any rules of that sort? Just try to get everyone to touch the ball?
The early part of the game you do that. You prefer even more than 4 passes. Just to get everyone warmed up, get their body starting to sweat.
Nice pass inside of Dolan. But a push-off against Dolan, and that's his first foul. Officials today are Mickey Crowley, Tim Higgins, and Ed Badagowski.
3 of them are from the ECAC. The assignment was made out of the ECAC. The 3 also work for the Big East.
And we'll see the Big East leader and the nation's #1 team, St. John's, the Redmen tomorrow, as they host DePaul's Blue Demons. The Blue Devils today, the Blue Demons tomorrow. And there's a demon of a play by Dawkins, 5-0.
Dawkins just has so much natural ability. When he gets in the air, he can shake and bake and keep his control and composure.
Back comes Rivers to try to counter, and a rebound to Amaker. 5-0, the Blue Devils lead. Amaker forcing the Billis there, and he is fouled. David Rivers, I believe, from behind.
I don't think that if Tim Kempter is well, I don't think they can sit him on the bench too much longer. I think they're going to have to move him in there. They're going to have to punch it inside and get their muscle game going. Notre Dame is famous for its baseline muscle game. But it's pretty difficult against the Blue Demons. They've got 3 weightlifters themselves.
And this is one of them, Jay Billis. They call him Arnold after Arnold Schwarzenegger after he worked on the weights and added 20 pounds this last year up to 235. 6-0 as Billis makes 1 out of 2, and the ball goes to Notre Dame. So the Irish, nearly 3 minutes without a point, and they trail 6-0.
You've got to get off the snide. It's so important to get a point up there, or 2 points, any way at all. From the foul line, off the backboard. Killed his dribble too soon.
Barlow draws Allery. Price with Dawkins. Royal against Billis. Into the paint. Won't drop for the Irish. Dawkins feeding Allery. And a nice control by Allery. 2 Irish right there to try to steal it away.
Now that's a 1-2-2 zone. Now watch him go to 2-3. Now it's a 2-3 zone. It'll stay at a 2-3 zone now. See, 2-3 now. It starts out 1-2-2, then drops down to a 2-3. Go around the horn, then try to kick it in.
Dawkins sees the daylight. The basket is good, and a foul on Dawkins for charging.
The reason why the basket is good, he released the ball before he made contact. Now watch this. The ball must leave his hands before he makes contact. The ball is out of his hand. There he made the contact. Good call by the Zebra.
Dawkins now with 4 points and an 8-0 deficit staring at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, open up and drive and get a foul. Get on the board. Let's make a game here.
Barlow, the top scorer for the Irish. Good defense by Allery to force him away. And the control by Billis. Amaker to Dawkins on the run. Oh, my. 10-0.
Give credit there to Mayhar. He put a defensive pick down there that allowed that layup.
Digger Phelps is furious. He wants timeout, and boy, that jaw is jutting. Richard Digger Phelps does not like what he sees.
Watch the pick in the paint here. Dawkins keeps coming. Now you'll see the pick right there. See it? See the kid from Canada picking?
45 Royals. He's a former hockey player, and he was like the boards himself there as Dawkins in for the freebie. It's 10-0 Duke with 4 minutes gone.
Next weekend, come on home to college basketball. Saturday at 1 Eastern and Pacific, Olympic All-American Wayman Tisdale leads the Oklahoma Sooners as they take on Kansas. Sunday, doubleheader action when Georgia battles the Kentucky Wildcats. Then Louisville faces the UCLA Bruins. All next weekend on NBC.
Defense. They may go to their 2-3 zone or stopping man-to-man. If they're in a man-to-man, we want Mark and Jay inside and Mark and Manny inside. In run in motion, we can also call some sets. Their other zone is the 2.
Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski with that conversation as the Philly Fanatic has got everything electronically wired here today.
That looks like a street person.
That's our antenna. The Irish trying to find in some range, trailing 10-0 in the early going. Tim Kempton, number 41, there he is, into the lineup for the first time. Sets up Rivers on the side, and David Rivers appropriately gets the first goal for the Irish as he returns home.
They're very fortunate only to be down 8 points after 4.5 minutes of the game.
Inside to Billis, blocked nicely by Barlow, but Billis gets it back. 12-2 the score. Billis with his first basket.
Keep that dribble alive. But the paint is too clogged up, so he can't penetrate on Amaker.
Kempton had it knocked away by Amaker, and recovery by Rivers. Way outside. That's a little out of his range. So with a 12-2 lead, Blue Devils on the attack. Dawkins, who has 6, blocked nicely as Vos is in there. Gary Vos, a freshman. Number 54 on his back. He's from Corona, New York. Went to high school in the Bronx. Barlow bangs in a 10-footer. 12-4 on Barlow's first hoop.
They need that. Barlow's a streak shooter. Likes to pop him from a baseline about 17, 18 feet out. Now watch this again. It's a 1-2-2. It's developed into a 2-3. Once the ball goes into the corner.
The high pass is too tall for Billis. And one of the few mistakes made by Krzyzewski's Devils. Notre Dame on the attack.
The problem we have here, I think that David Rivers can take Amaker, but Notre Dame is setting up down low, Dick, with a double stack. Watch the double stack offensively be set. Tim Kempton's a little slow getting down.
Mahar is out, and David Henderson, a junior from Drury, North Carolina, in for Duke. He's their outstanding 6th man. Kempton on Billis. Big Tim driving and trying to set up Barlow. Stolen away. Barlow gets it back, scores, and he's fouled.
Looked to me like Dawkins reached in that time. Possible 3-point play.
Krzyzewski wanted 3 seconds.
Excellent bounce pass here. Now watch Dawkins reach in. Right? Well, we're blocked out by the standards. But I think... Let's take the other angle. Right there. Dawkins catches his wrist.
And Ken Barlow looking for his 5th point. And suddenly the Irish back in it. Just a 5-point lead for Duke at 12-7.
Looks like it's setting up a little trap at half court here. 1-2-2. See if the trap comes at half court. Excellent breaking of the pressure.
Anderson in the post, number 12. Almost a steal by Rivers. 2 6-footers that really contested defensively. Inside to Allery. That was an unusual shot. He actually never left the floor as he was fouled, but continued with his motion toward the basket and has a chance for a 3-point play.
There was no quick reaction on this at all. If you notice their feet, no one gets up in the air. Looks like Tim gave a little push earlier.
This first 2 points.
Both of these teams, they're playing at home. They both really have relatively zoos, snake pits, and it's quite quiet here today because of you can't get the rhythm going. There's not enough students, and I don't think the bands are here.
15-7 the score. 13 minutes remaining in this first half. And that's going to be 5 seconds against Rivers as Amaker's defense, and Rivers was not moving the ball aggressively enough. Allery back to Henderson. He's a good player. David Henderson is an excellent story. The young guy from a very small town had to run 5 miles to the nearest basketball court when he was a kid just to work out. 17-7 Duke. Took a walk. No basket. And the Irish guilty of another turnover.
What's happening with the Irish on the offensive end is that the strength and the size underneath is blocking up so much that the guards cannot penetrate. There's a tall team in there. It's Rivers and 4 other guys 6'6" or taller.
Ellery set up Billis and back outside to Henderson. Dawkins. Mahar back in the game. It's 19-7. Mahar today. We'll see another Canadian Olympian tomorrow, Bill Wennington of St. John's.
Duke is completely unselfish. Many passes, whoever's open is going to get the ball.
Irish now trail by a dozen, and another travel against Donald Royal.
Digger, you need to regroup a little bit. There's too much indecision.
11:53 remaining in the half. 19-7 the score. It's exciting championship middleweight boxing and karate tomorrow on Sports World. Duncan, the New Jersey Nets mascot. This is his home park, and he's entertaining the fans. I guess a relative of the Philly Fanatic. It appears to have somewhat the same bloodlines. And also be mindful of a couple of old sportscasters I know.
You'd have to have a lot of money to be my relative.
19-7. It's all Duke so far here at the Meadowlands with 8 minutes gone, and Blue Devils missing only 4 shots while the Irish have made only 3.
Watch the passes by Duke. Crisp. Kick it back out.
From the side, and that's the young freshman, Kevin Strickland, 6'5".
He comes out shooting. They say in his junior and senior year, he'll be the high scorer of the team.
He was second in North Carolina last year in high school ball to Ranzino Smith, who went to North Carolina. Tim Kempton powering inside. He can't get it to drop, and there's the rebound from Henderson. 21-7, a football score, and the turnover. Also in the lineup is Martin Nestle, a 7'2" center for Duke. Number 13, Barry Spencer, in for the Irish. Royal goes out.
Dig is searching. Plenty of time left in the game. Being down 14 points is not a problem right now. He's just looking to get a run going, but David can't go anyplace. It's too blocked underneath.
Irish need a couple of quick touchdowns and extra points, though, to get back in it. 21-7, 11 minutes remaining in the half.
Nice defense by Dawkins there.
Barlow way outside. And the foul is on Mahar of Duke. The Duke defense just forcing Notre Dame out of its shooting range.
What they do now at Duke, normally Bobby Knight style was to force everyone into the middle where you get help. Now they fanned it. They try to force you into the corners. They overfavor the middle. Just the opposite. And that's what's happening in Notre Dame. You notice they're taking bad angle shots about 17 feet out.
There's a 5-second violation against Notre Dame, and they have made a multitude of errors here in this first half. Traveling, and now Rivers guilty for the second time, once on the dribble and now on the out-of-bounds play, beating the 5-second clock. Dawkins, Hampton.
Now you'll see Quicksilver. Here we go.
Knocked away by Duke, and out of bounds to whom? Duke, off the leg of Dolan.
They stripped Doc Rivers. Clearly, Nahar got his hand in there.
And then it hit Dolan's leg, as you'll see here. And out of bounds off Notre Dame. 21-7. Meanwhile, Duke gets shots much closer in, although Henderson didn't make that one, and Rivers comes up with the ball. Inside to Kempton. Nice give and go to Dolan. And a chance for a three-point play.
Excellent pass by Kempton that time.
Dolan's first point.
North Carolina does. Center to center. But this is center to forward. They tried to double team on Tim Kempton. He hit Dolan. Blue-collar player, hard-nosed, lunch pail type player.
The high school about 60 miles from here in Point Pleasant to St. Joseph's High School. Ooh, almost a chance for a 4-point play for the Irish. Knocked out of bounds with a foul against Duke. Foul on Strickland, his second. So Strickland comes out.
And that's the 5th on Duke, so they're 2 away from a 1-1.
Rivers inside, a soft kiss off the glass. So it is a 4-point play for the Irish, and they certainly needed it. 21-11 Duke. 4 points now for Rivers.
Just punching the ball inside.
Dawkins knocked away by Kempton. Good defense by the big redhead. Rivers lost it. Barlow controls. Back to Rivers. Open for the 15-footer. And it's 21-13. 6 unanswered points for the Irish.
Tim Kempton is keeping the ball alive. It's his type of game, pushing and shoving underneath. Space Eaters.
Mallory. Oh, he has a nice jumper, doesn't he?
Big kid from Scottsdale, Arizona. I was down there last week. Beautiful place. If you notice the Duke fans, the Duke ball players go down and touch the floor with both their hands. They do that to remind them to play defense, to bend over, to be at 3 o'clock, not at 6 o'clock standing up straight. So every time you see a Duke player bend over and touch the floor, it's that he is thinking defense.
Gets down and really dig in.
It's a good thing that they all do it, and next time down you might catch 1 or 2 of them doing it.
David Rivers at the line. Averaging 14 points in his freshman year, and from the line, a 78% free throw shooter.
In the 1-on-1, 7 foul.
Fouls on Dawkins, his second. Duke fans chanting air ball. We're going to see Cameron, the Duke student body, they're well storied the humor and the extremes even to which they've gone to entertain the opposition. We'll look forward to seeing how they treat North Carolina, their rival, in a couple of weeks here on NBC.
It always seems to me the higher the academic level of the student body, the lower their action on the basketball.
Oh, wait a minute now. Now, wait a minute. You're going to get us in trouble, and we're not even there in town. We're not even in Durham yet.
I'll be down there in 2 weeks. Big ball game.
So Rivers gets deuce from the line, and it's 23-15 with 9 minutes left in the half. For 55, freshman Billy King in the lineup, and a turnover. Barlow to Spencer, and Amaker takes it right back.
Bad play by Barlow that time.
Dillis scores, and that was a key turnover.
Barlow stole the ball. Instead of giving the ball to David Rivers, he turned around and gave it to Spencer. Always get the ball into the guy that can handle the ball. Always give it to your guard.
10-point lead for the Blue Devils.
First zone by the Blue Devils, 2-3.
Rivers from 35 feet away, and a foul by Barlow.
He must have heard me. Barlow, you made up for that bad pass. Or a choice of a bad pass. He passed to the wrong person. Always get it into the guard's hands on a fast break.
7 points for Barlow. Duke by 8.
Notre Dame's playing man-to-man.
Mahar. Rebound Kempton. He certainly has contributed since coming in. On the boards and defensively.
Here's touching the ground. King in the zone, 2-3. You got to take that from the top of the key, Rivers. Moving a little bit. There's a hole there between Amaker and King. Not you, King. Barlow can shoot it, or Rivers can shoot it.
Dolan throws it away to King. Amaker, foul by Rivers. No basket. Let's go back to Barlow's timing as he jammed in the follow.
Yeah, come over everybody from the right side over there. Watch him come in the back.
Some heavy shielding work done by Dolan inside. With 7:31 left in the first half, Duke 25, the Irish of Notre Dame 17.
Sunday, all the excitement of college basketball is here when DePaul battles Lou Carnesecca's Redmen of #1 St. John's. Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC.
Okay? You got it under 10. You got to get it where? Under 5. That's our next goal. I don't need
Dickerson saying, yeah, don't hurry. Let's go 2 by 2. Let's go. We got it down under 10. Let's try to get it down by 5. That's our next goal with 7:31 remaining in the half. And don't forget tomorrow, DePaul against the top-rated St. John's Redmond. They won last night against Pittsburgh at home. The longest winning streak in major college ball. 16 in a row for Louis Carnesecca's Masters of Liveduction.
Wow. Wow. The doctor would charge you $50 to cure that.
They had 3 left-handers in the starting lineup. Any other team in the top 50 with 3 southpaw starters? Allery. He just doesn't miss. He's hitting over 60% on the year, and most of them from outside. 10-point lead for Duke.
The thing that Digger wants to stop are turnovers. Those are the things that kill any club.
It's like baseball. You can't give the other team a 5-out inning. The errors will eat you alive. Spencer back out to Rivers. Dolan, Barlow. Line drive for Ken Barlow, who leads the Irish with 9. 6:41 left first half. And at halftime, Al McGuire, a most unique guest, freshman basketball player, plays a different kind of game. Allery has the touch. He has 12 to lead all scores.
After a guy hits 3-4 in a row, you got to get up on him.
Kempton clears the Dolan. Rivers. And the Irish now with a hotter shooting hand. Rivers has 10.
Starting to get hot. They're starting to stroke it. Be interested. Let's see what they do this time down against Allery. They're in a man-to-man. They got Dolan on Allery. Allery will come around the pick. Not yet. Allery go around the other way. Here he comes. No, he's looking to post up.
There's Allery with Dolan on him.
Unselfish.
Now watch him without the ball, how he tries to gain a position. They were looking for Allery, but he didn't see the pass, and Dolan did for the Irish. Big opportunity for Notre Dame. Good pass inside to Spencer, and a foul. Kempton set him up nicely.
In tight, the bounce pass, you can do nothing better. When it gets tight within 3 or 4 feet of the rim, bounce the ball. Now watch Tim Kempton bounce this ball to Spencer. Unbelievable. Here he comes. Beautiful.
And the foul on Allery, his first. Barry Spencer has his first point of the game. The Irish are without Scott Hicks and Dan Duff, 2 guards, both ill with the flu, left back in the medical center at Notre Dame. So Spencer hits a pair, and the Irish now have pulled to 29-23, a 6-point lead for Duke. Duke once led by 14.
And it seems like Duke is leading by 20, but it's down to 6. Notre Dame's just grinding it out.
Henderson back in for Duke, so it's Allery, Mahar, Amaker, and Dawkins. Almost another turnover saved by Allery. And Rivers very nearly with a steal.
The reason that didn't count is because Rivers touched the ball. Otherwise, it would have been backcourt.
Ooh, Amaker had lost Rivers in a pick, but no one saw him underneath. Oh, Henderson from outside has 4.
He's frightened. He's off the bench and always performs. There they are bending over, thinking defense. Now they went man-to-man. They're out of the zone.
And Henderson does, the steal by Dawkins and clear sailing.
He was the first alternate on our Olympic team.
Yeah, Bobby Knight had him down to the last cut, and he was the 13th man.
And his teammate, Allery, made the 32. Then he got cut. There were 64 guys that tried out.
Ooh, almost another steal for Dawkins. Matt Beazard in the game for the first time for Notre Dame. Easy to spot with that brush haircut. Flat top. Barlow. Not there. Beazard is. So the freshman from Southern California makes it 33-25.
Move outside, Allery, and shoot from there. He's hit the last 3. Barlow's on him.
It's an experienced but young Duke team. Henderson hits again. The only senior is Maher that plays any great amount. 10-point lead again for Duke. 3.5 left in the first half. Kempson, nice little drive to set up Dolan. Dawkins the other way. And he's fouled from behind by Barlow.
Barlow reached in. I think it was a poor foul. They're not in the 1-on-1 yet, so I believe Duke will take it out.
But first a timeout with 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the first half here in the Meadowlands, where Duke of the ACC leads Notre Dame by 10. Well, it's quiet here, a neutral court for Duke and Notre Dame, but it won't be quiet tomorrow. St. John's Alumni Hall, you go back to your alma mater. Boy, have I done some research on you. What does this mean to you? Rhode Island, 1949-21.
No idea.
21 points, the most you ever scored for St. John's. 21. Hey, hot hand. You don't even remember it?
No. Let me tell you about tomorrow's game, Dick. DePaul is used to playing in small gyms because they practice in that small alumni hall in Chicago. And DePaul, the pressure's off them. They have 7 losses. And when you're number 1, there's pressure on you.
Wait a minute. You think DePaul's going to beat you at St. John's?
I didn't say they were going to beat them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be a dynamite game. You got 2 guys from the East, Comagese and Patterson coming back home. And DePaul has a long bench. And you bet your bottom dollar that Joey wants this game because they're starting to worry about the NCAA, as strange as that sounds.
In the meantime, Louis Carnesecca, sweater and all, will be trying to make it 17 in a row and maintain his spot, #1 in the nation. 3:04 left in this first half. Duke with the ball and a 10-point advantage.
Spreading it out a little bit, trying to get the individual talent of Dawkins against Fisher. He could handle it. They clear out the side.
Henderson, he had the 10-footer and passed it by.
Clear it out, Henderson. Get out of there. Now take him, Dawkins. Take him to laundry. Come on, Dawkins. Oh, come on. Take him once there. No shot clock, so they can spread it out like this, take all the time they want. It's an advantage for Duke this time because Duke does not always play with a shot clock. When they go to the NCAA, there will not be a shot clock. Good job by Fisher on the defensive end so far, but I still feel that Dawkins could take him anytime he wants.
Henderson against Royal.
Nice
Got help from Barlow, and Beezard almost with a steal.
Fisher's quicker than he looks. He looks more chunky. He looks like a tight end in football.
Saw the shooting percentages, and Duke far superior. In fact, Duke, one of the top shooting teams in the entire country, over 54% for the year. The Irish have not shot well. They're under 46%. Pretty tough to go too far in the tournament if you're not at least around that 50% mark.
Just taking their time. You got to come up on him, Barlow.
Kept the ball for over a minute, Coach.
Yep. Well, the coach just wants to win the game. They're not out here to entertain. I'm surprised that Dawkins doesn't take him. He has to get up closer to him. So long, fella. You like that, Dixie, baby?
You were right
on. So long. See you later.
10 points for Dawkins. Yeah, unfair advantage.
Oh, sure, it's a forward on the guard. That's right, son. Forwards are used to having the baseline to help them out.
Barlow tries to get it back and does for the Irish. So it's 37-27. Barlow, 11 for him.
Change it around. Put Rivers on Dawkins.
Rivers is playing amateur on the other side of the court. Okay, here's Dawkins. Beezer's giving him a little room now.
Not too much room. How about 12 feet?
There's a really outstanding basketball team. And Henderson.
That's a charge. It's a charge.
That's what they called it.
Hey, Kay, what are you upset about, Kay? That was a charge. NC, no contest.
First foul on Henderson.
Now watch Dawkins cat and mouse. Once, well, we get around to Dawkins. That's Henderson. No, that's his charge. Excuse me. It was an obvious charge. Now we go back to Dawkins. There he goes.
Boy, just gliding not only around Beezard, but Kempton to score. The Irish in the final minute with a chance to get it under a 10-point deficit. Royal. Oh, my! Barlow
by Barlow. He comes from the perimeter. It's the second time in the first half. He slices in there and dunks it, puts it back in.
13 points for Barlow to lead the Irish, and Barlow's done that most of the year, and his average 15.5 a game. So he's had a big first half, and now it's Duke apparently going for the final shot.
Yeah, they'll look for 6 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if Digger wouldn't drop back into the zone at about 10 seconds. Because the next is 1-1. If they foul, Duke goes for 1-1. Excellent foul shooting team.
Ellery crowded well. Can't get his jumper away, so it's Henderson from the baseline. Oh, my. Oh, what a tough shot. At the buzzer, Rivers is short. And that is the end of the first half.
Would I love to have a 6th man like Henderson?
Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils leave at the intermission with a 10-point lead. Barlow got 2 on this one, but the sharp-shooting Blue Devils, Henderson at the buzzer, makes it 39-29. We'll be right back. An impressive first half by 4th-ranked Duke Blue Devils as they shot well over 60% lead Notre Dame by 10. What is your feeling of this first time you've seen Duke this year?
I didn't think Duke was that good. Watching them out there, they seem like 10 guys, the 5 subs coming in, 10 friends. They seem to be aware of each other. They seem to have compassion for each other, and they're not statistically oriented. They don't care who scores.
Yeah, they are an unselfish team, and they're showing why they have such a high national ranking. And we have a very special guest, a young man who plays basketball but can't hear the sounds that we do. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Al McGuire's Hoops. Brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855.
One of the charms of college basketball or sports in general is the fact that it provides such wonderful drama, the come from behind, the long shot, the underdog. There are stories that sometimes if you took them to a Hollywood movie maker, they'd say, no, this never happens. Well, even yourself. I mean, some said you'd never play pro ball. That was a miracle in itself. But on a serious note, you had an interesting interview with a young man at Hofstra.
Well, Willie Brown is a Larry Bird. He is a Dr. J for the silent world.
All right, this is a unique young man, a freshman at Hofstra University. Willie Brown is 6 feet 5 inches tall. He cannot speak and he cannot hear, and so all the court sounds that are keys for other players are not heard by this young man, Willie Brown.
Sometimes we want to get his attention, we call out his name. It's a reflex. We can't actually talk to him. We just have to get eye contact with him.
It's taking him a little while longer than the offense than everybody else. But, you know, he's just a freshman, and it's going to take him time to learn.
When he's confused, he'll just look at us and, you know, say, like, what are we doing or something like that. And we'll tell him what defense or what offense or, you know, answer his question. He just points and, you know, everybody's coming accustomed to his actions and he's coming accustomed to ours.
The clock is ticking away. The coaches are bouncing back and forth in front of their bench, yelling, trying to communicate with their ball players. The referee blows his whistle. Every ball player in the NCAA hears that, with the exception of one, Willie Brown from Hofstra.
It's hard for a deaf player among a hearing team because they talk among each other and I don't necessarily know what's going on. Then later the team really got together, like in the huddle, let's say, and explained what's going on. Now it's really improved.
Willie, have you ever dunked the ball after the whistle?
No, I would not. I've never done that. No, that'd be a foul, too.
It'd be a foul, too, right. Do you forget that he's deaf?
At times you do, particularly at halftime. We lost the game recently to Brigham Young, and I forgot to sign a few of the words that I said to the team at halftime, and there are times maybe in a heated moment that you forget that Willie's there and that he's not understanding what you're saying. But generally speaking, he's pretty attuned to what you're saying, and if he doesn't understand something, he'll usually tap me on the shoulder and ask.
He cannot read lips.
No. Unfortunately, because he went to a deaf school for 18 years, he did not have to, and everyone there signed, so he never had the opportunity to pick that up.
What is the weakest part of his game that you worked on in practice?
The weakest part is boxing out the physical style and defense. Defensively, because of the communications and some verbal calls, he gets caught sometimes by picks or screens. So defensively and the physical style of the college game is what he's adjusting to.
Willie, what's your dream? What are you looking for down the road?
Well, I'd really like to get into the pros. I know it's tough. I can't guarantee that it'll happen. I'd really like to improve my game, and I'd like to get into the pros. If not, well, we'll see what happens. Because for a deaf player, you know, there's never been one chosen for the pros. So, we'll see.
Well, there's never been one in Division I, and you're the first one.
That's right.
Beautiful. I doubt pro ball, Dick, but who can argue with a dreamer?
Yeah, we were at North Carolina State a few weeks ago, and maybe the advice from someone there, he said, a loser is someone who doesn't have a dream and tries to ruin someone else's dreams. And that young man had just run cross-country from one end of this wonderful country to the other on one leg. A loser is someone who doesn't have a dream.
When you look. My roommate claims my presence during overtime games may be hazardous to her health. She exaggerates. I've matured. But being an ex-cheerleader, I've still got a lot of that old razzmatazz.
Tomorrow, come on home to college basketball as Chris Mullen and Walter Berry lead the Redmen of #1 St. John's. Joey Meyer faces the Carnesecca Sweater as DePaul battles St. John's. College basketball, tomorrow at 2 Eastern on NBC.
Back in New York, Boston College has just defeated Villanova 62-61. Villanova was ranked 16th, Boston College unranked, but Boston College was favored by that 1 point that they won by. And Villanova had a tough week after losing to both St. John's, and Raleigh Massimino also lost to Georgetown last Monday. And here in this game, he saw his team doing well. Villanova, alley-oop, there it goes, from a pass from Wilbur to Dwayne McClain. And here in the second half, Villanova, as Wilbur drives and gets fouled, they led by 11 points. But here, on the fast break, it goes to Michael Adams, who scores it with 34 seconds to go. Boston College wins at 62-61. Now, controversy continues to stalk Zola Budd, the South African turned British citizen, remember, involved with Mary Decker in the Olympics. Today, in a cross-country race in England, she was in the lead and tripped by an anti-apartheid protester unable to finish the race. We're trying to get tape of the incident. As soon as we do, we'll show it to you here on NBC. Now back to Dick and Al in the Meadowlands.
All right, thanks, Len Berman. It's time now for Al McGuire to take a look at his top 12 plus 1 Baker's dozen in college basketball, and here's how he has them stacked up. And the team we'll see tomorrow on NBC at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 o'clock out in the West will be the St. John's Redmen. Georgetown is second. Michigan from the Big Ten third. Duke fourth. Oklahoma, Memphis State, and Georgia Tech. Let's see if there's any ups or downs in that top 7 for Al McGuire. Oh, Michigan.
I picked Michigan down. They won a great game against Iowa, but next week and the week after, they got to go to Indiana, they got to go to Ohio State, and they got to go to Michigan State.
All right, that'll be the test of the Wolverines and the rest of Al's Baker's dozen. Syracuse is 8th, North Carolina, Louisiana Tech, Kansas, SMU, and Tulsa the 13th, and you have to have an up there someplace. What team will advance? You like the Tar Heels.
Yeah, those big guys are starting to get in the groove. And Dean Smith, it's March time, and it's always Dean Smith's time.
Getting ready for the ACC. So there's Al McGuire's Baker's dozen. 3:48 left before we start the second half. Duke University leading Notre Dame by 10. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
A power. College basketball is brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller, brewed the American way since 1855. By your Firestone retailer coast to coast. Come on, America, drive over to Firestone. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right. And by Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears.
Where I come from, people.
C-Style.
When you rarely miss a shot attempt, you should lead by 10 at halftime. And look at the statistics for Duke University from the floor. 18 of 25, 72%.
One thing about that, they cannot continue at that pace, and Notre Dame should improve a little bit, maybe not too much.
Another statistic that would upset Digger. Look at the rebounds, 11-8 favor of Duke. The Irish this year, one of the top 10 teams in the nation, are a +9 more than their opponents, and yet down by 3 at halftime in that rebounding department against
Well,
Duke.
they met their match on the baseline. They're all a bunch of space eaters on both teams.
Leading scorers, Allery mostly from the outside, and Dawkins with some clever drives, 12 and 10 to lead Duke. Ken Barlow and David Rivers for Notre Dame, but that's 23 of the Irish's 29, so they haven't had much supporting help. Start the second half. Digger Phelps will go with Tim Kempton, who was not a starter, to open the game. Rivers, Price, Barlow, and Spencer for Notre Dame. It'll be Billis, Amaker, Allery, Dawkins, and Mahar, the same five that Krzyzewski started to open the game.
Notre Dame has to get something out of Joseph Price the second half.
Dawkins, oh, what a feed to Mahar, and he is fouled. A beautiful pass by Dawkins.
Johnny, what a pass. Where do you see this pass, gang? Here it comes.
Oh, threading it through the defense, almost a no-look pass, and a chance for Mahar at a three-point play, and he converts it. So Duke starts the way they finished the first half.
Again, the famous Notre Dame stack down low in the offense. David Rivers cannot go anywhere.
Pulls up, tipped in by Barry Spencer. Spencer's fourth point.
Let's see what Notre Dame's in. Notre Dame's playing man-to-man. Switching down low. Look at a combination down low.
Allery had lost control of the ball, was slipping off his fingertips. Kempton to Spencer.
Calling out a set play.
Rivers from Jersey City has to go in the back court to recover. It had been knocked back there by Duke. A lot of outstanding college basketball players from David Rivers' home area, Jersey City, including some that had gone to the ACC. Michael O'Korn at North Carolina. Spinarkle, Jim Spinarkle at Duke.
One of my starting five on my championship team in 1977, Jimmy Boylan.
That's right. And currently Raphael Addison up at Syracuse, and Andy Johnson at Marquette from the Jersey City area, and Ned Lawson, a fine player at Manhattan. Kempton will get two, looking for his first point, but that's misleading. He's contributed well on the boards and defensively. Mother is a detective now. I asked about her. She's been promoted to detective status in the Manhattan Police Department. I said, I find unusual to have a mother come home and have her wearing a pistol. He said, no, it's been 15 years. We're used to it.
Need this point real bad, the Irish, to get their motor going.
10-point lead again, same as at halftime. 42-32 Duke. Minute and a half into the second half. Don't forget the third round of the Andy Williams Golf Classic out in the San Diego area. La Jolla to follow, along with fine boxing and karate championships. Big day on NBC, and more tomorrow. St. John's challenged by DePaul. Here comes Rivers to Big Tim Kempton.
Big Tim got away with a walk that time, just before he took the shot. Coach K's up. Mention it to the official.
Dawkins with a drive and Kempton with a rebound. 8-point lead for Duke.
David's going to shoot the Rapids.
Oh, nice steal by Allery as he takes it away from Barlow.
Big steal. Look for Allery to take a shot from the outside anytime in the next couple of minutes. Set him up, gang. He's down low. He'll pop and come around.
Dawkins blocked from behind by Spencer. Out of bounds to Duke.
Nice block. All leather off Spencer. Watch, it comes from behind. Watch him jump. Gets his hand on the ball. Forces it out. Duke out.
Dawkins. Billis. Oh, he was fouled.
Remarkable thing. Don't dig it. The remarkable thing about that foul, he grabbed him before, so he committed 2 fouls. Watch him grab him before the 2-shot foul. Watch it was Barlow, I think, or Spencer. Now watch the grab. 1 second now. Wait a second. There it is there. Then he came back again. You know, if you steal one marshmallow, you go back and steal the second one. You'll eventually get caught.
Billis, a 67% free throw shooter. He had an interesting summer. He worked for Digger Phelps and ABC television during the Olympics coverage. And Digger, he used Billis as his statistician and runner. Billis wants to be a radio television announcer himself someday, and certainly has the voice to fit the mold. 7 points for him. Not sure the booth would be big enough, though.
Well, in gaining that 20-some-odd pounds through weights, he worked out with his father last summer in California. His father used to be a commercial fisherman. Now he's in real estate.
10-point Duke lead. Just 3 minutes played in the second half.
That's the way defense should be played by Amaker.
Rivers and Amaker got a piece of the ball. Out of bounds to Duke.
That is defense. You always keep the back of your head between the man and the basket, and you bend over. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Watch it. Well, that's a little bit too late. That was not a good shot. Amaker's getting frustrated. But to give Rivers credit, there's no place to go. The paint's all blocked up.
Mahar gets the basket, and it appeared that Amaker might have gotten away with a walk. 5 points for Mahar. 3.5 minutes into the second half.
Need a basket here to start move away from you.
Barlow gets it. Ken Barlow. That's his average, 15 points.
Boy, give him the ball 12, 14 feet out, and you got one of the best in Barlow. He could be a little bit more physical underneath, but that's not his style. He's a finesse player.
Spencer on Dawkins. And good defense by the Irish to force the turnover. Boys, Duke team is tough out of the ACC. They're 12-0 this year, looking for their 13th win against Notre Dame, and they have a 10-point advantage.
Vladimir! Where is Comrade Petrenko?
What is commotion?
This beer Petrenko buys for embassy.
Meisterbrau, expensive capitalist beer.
5 o'clock Eastern time and 4 o'clock in the West. The Andy Williams Isuzu San Diego Open, and they have quite a crowd atop that leaderboard, so stay with us. That'll be after basketball, karate, and boxing here on NBC. Score earlier, may have missed it at halftime. Len Berman reporting that Boston College in a mild upset defeating Villanova by 1, 62-61. Our eye in the sky behind the backboard, a remote-controlled NBC camera focusing on the action here at the Meadowlands.
Good D by Amaker. Good movement by Rivers.
Kempton can't get the short jumper. Amaker has a man open. Mahar.
Good play. Be a 2-shot foul. He saved the basket. He didn't undercut the guy. Went right across the chest. You really should try to hold that man. Outright hold him. Now watch the pass come down. Excellent pass.
Joseph Price is second, 15 third.
Now watch Price intentionally foul him. No chance for a possible 3-point play. Now he has to bottom him out.
And this is the first one. Mahar from St. Catharines, Ontario. He's mindful of Kenny Denard, member of that final team back in '78. In fact, he and Denard are very close friends.
You know, surprisingly, in the last 20-some-odd years, Kenny Denard is the only ball player not to get a degree out of Duke. And he's an excellent student. He needs about 4 hours, but he just won't go get the 4 hours.
He's playing ball over in Rome, I heard, and they're trying to coax him to come back for a while and finish up his degree work.
Oh, he will eventually, but I think it's kind of a badge of honor. I'm the only exception, you know, that type of thing. Knock the stick off my shoulder.
Jay Billis ticketed with a foul away from the ball for Duke. For Billis his first.
But that's a nice statistic, Dick.
It is
20-some-odd years, and everyone has got the sheepskin.
Beezert replaces Price. The Irish down by 11 with nearly 5 minutes gone in the second half.
Beezert, stay down low and post up Dawkins this time. We'll get 2 on. Give it to the Beast. Give it to him, huh?
Rivers. And the rebound to Billis.
Same mismatch on either end. Dawkins has a mismatch on the offensive end. On the defensive end, he has a problem because he cannot cover him. Should have kicked it inside to him that time. Man-to-man, ND.
Amaker on Rivers. Nice rebound by Alvarez. Beezert for Notre Dame.
Now let's see if Notre Dame sets up with Beezert taking Dawkins inside. Nope.
Spencer in a crowd, and Amaker bumped into him. Didn't think so.
Here comes instant offense.
Yes, sir. Henderson, David Henderson comes in, number 12. He's averaging 11 points a game as a non-starter. He's the 3rd leading scorer for Duke and showed his rather extreme talents in that first half. Kempton pulling up for the 10-footer and the big red hand. Now with 5.
Welcome back home to the East, Tim.
By the way, Amaker now with 3 fouls. Rebound to Barlow. Now the Irish down by 9, and there's Amaker with a pick. Over Rivers, and he is fouled. No, he was not fouled. No whistle. Thought I heard one. What a play by Amaker to take it right back.
Yep. In-your-face basketball.
Really a richly talented team for Duke for both ends of the court.
Watch the steal here by Amaker, and then David Rivers trying to steal it back again. It was a little sloppy ball handling that time. Here's the steal. David's a little bit embarrassed. Didn't foul. Got himself a crier. That's a ball that bounces around and finally goes in.
Foul on Henderson.
A little bit too aggressive on Royal that time. Got himself caught on Royal's backside.
If one that bounces around takes an as a crier, would that mean that most of you made were weepers, or how would you describe that 8-point average at St. John's?
I just wanted the people out there to know what a crier was. That's one that bounces around and spins and hits the backboard and finally drops in.
No extra charge. 6.5 minutes into the second half. Duke 49, Notre Dame 38.
Easy.
Ooh, Kempton getting the ball in the crowd, but a good move away from Billis, and he draws the foul.
What happened that time, they got caught in the baseline in the switch, and Amaker had to pick up Tim Kempton. Now watch this. They get caught in the switch. Amaker comes off Beezert. Watch it. Here he comes. Now watch it. Now watch the switch. See Amaker on him. They get caught in the switch. He turns around here, gives a swan song, broken wing type of shot, looking for the 2-shot foul, and maybe hoping the possibility of a 3. Anytime you hear a whistle, shoot the ball, gang. Anytime you hear a whistle, because you'll always get 2 shots there.
Especially if you can make a swan song broken wing. Swan song broken
wing crier.
Oh, now I understand. 49-39.
Oh,
you are something.
I wish I had my ball players back. That was a great group, the guys at Marquette. We had an understanding, just a complete understanding. I was the only coach in the country that the team worried about. Usually the coach worries about the team. Man to man.
49-40, Duke.
Mismatch here. So long.
Dawkins going around him again. But no basket.
Mismatch. No contest. Curtains. That's all she wrote. If you can show this.
So quick.
I mean, but it's not fair. I mean, the guy's not supposed to be. Come watch this. So long, fellas. See you later. How you doing? Shake hands. Give him change.
No basket. The foul before the shot on Beezert.
Yeah. Now, but down the other end, if they give Beezert the ball in the post position, he'd be scoring over Dawkins and Amaker.
Dawkins, they'll finish at amateur. There's another assist for Dawkins. Dawkins, not only the leading scorer, over 400 points. He has over 100 rebounds. He has over 100 assists. He's done that 3 straight years at Duke. I mean, he is a complete player. He's not just a scorer, right there in assists and rebounds. David Rivers back now, moving inside, a little better percentage.
Yeah, good body control. He didn't get into out of control where he charged. He got into the paint, got his balance, went up, scored.
Henderson, and a foul on Beezer. No, they say it was Rivers reaching in on the backside.
It seems that you can put a clock on Henderson. That means that by the 3rd time he touches the ball, he is going to shoot.
Foul was not on Beezer. They say it was Rivers first, reaching in his 3rd.
Both teams have 5 fouls on them. The arrows favoring Notre Dame, and we got 12:26 left, so we got a lifetime left here.
Now Dawkins will put some gray hair in your head the way he tried to defense him, and Mark Allery hits again. Allery with 14.
Allery has those suitcase shoulders.
Kempton left alone. And a crier for Kempton.
Soft. Again, watch Duke all the time, forcing the offensive players to the corner, not to the middle.
Henderson. Mahar. Beezer. And Beezer.
Good hustle, Mahar, but you're out of bounds.
Yeah, the old hockey player said, I finally had to quit hockey. I was a centerman and thought I was going to be the next Wayne Gretzky, but I got so tall, my ankles wouldn't hold up all the height and weight.
Well, he was icing the puck. It's like saying to the doctor, it was a good operation, doctor, but you cut off the wrong leg. Watch him go. Dive, son. Wing, but you're OB. Out of bounds.
11:45 left. Duke by 9.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. If you could ride under your car, you'd see the dirty, hard work your suspension system does to give you a stable, comfortable ride.
Through a fog of antihistamine, Enberg and McGuire, and if that camera seems a little shaky on the other end, it's because Dave Hagan, our cameraman, with a focus, his wife Daryl is going to have a baby any minute, they say, and we wish the Hagans well. I hope it's well, whatever you want.
Wish you well, fella. Boy or girl, as long as it's healthy.
Now, you.
Me?
You've been studying the Duke history, and you say you're going to come up with the all-time Blue Devil...
Let me give you a rule. My all Blue Devils team, Dick, of the last 25 years. Okay, that's from 1960. By position, 2 guards, a center, and 2 forwards.
Well, I can hardly wait. Will we have to wait long?
We'll have to wait about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I want you to write it down. See who you think are the best 5 ever.
I think we'll have the Hagan baby before you give me the information. 53-44. And Rivers trying to get 2 more for the Irish in a fine drive. No whistle. For Rivers, his 14th point.
That should have been a foul for acting on Mihar that time.
Well, the Irish fans now starting to let their voices be heard as Henderson can't hit. And Billis gets it. And he's fouled and he scores. Kempton got him.
The score's good. I thought he might have jumped back in there that time. Let's take a look at it now. He gets the ball in the inside position right here. Now he comes down. Tim's giving him a little trouble. He gets the ball. Let's see if he jumps into him. Watch. See that? Close. Good call by the official.
And Billis earning a chance at the 3-point play. And the big guy from Rolling Hills, California has 10. He went to high school with Tracy Austin, the tennis star at Rolling Hills. 10-point lead after Notre Dame had cut it down to 7. Billis makes the big play on the rebound.
Okay, Dan.
Spencer inside to Donald Royal. Rebound Barlow. That's the third. Barlow with 6 of his 17 points on follows.
What's happened, Notre Dame is not boxing him out because he's about 14 feet from the basket.
Dawkins. No basket before the shot.
Watch Barlow knife in after this missed shot by, I think it's Royal underneath here. Now here he comes. See him come from the outside. No one boxes him out. And that is number 3. 6 points by him cutting in from 13 feet out. Excuse me, that shot was taken by that man there, Spencer.
Second personal foul on Spencer, and at the line is Dawkins. Looking for his 11th point. Talented left-hander. You can almost make a pretty interesting left-handed team, and we're going to see 3 of them as starters at St. John's tomorrow, including Chris Mullen. Now, that's not a bad start for a backcourt, Dawkins and Mullen.
Tomorrow we get to eat mulberries.
Barry, the talented sophomore, Junior College Player of the Year last year for St. John's, and Mullen, the Olympian, one of the great All-Americans and the top candidate for the Wooden Award. Spencer can't hit. Mahar rebounds. Here comes fleet-footed Dawkins to Henderson, and a foul on Kempton.
Good play by Kempton. He held him up. Now remember, he hit him kind of hard on Henderson, but he held him. The crowd's booing a little bit, but no, he did a very sportsmanlike thing. Now watch.
Pass though by Dawkins.
Now watch him hold him. See, he holds him so he doesn't go down. Here's another angle. Watch him hold him. See, he doesn't go down. That's the way to do it.
In fact, he says, hey, don't hold me quite so tight.
Maybe you bear hug him and choke him to death, but
you held him.
You held him.
Henderson gets 2.
He never touched the ground.
David Henderson from a town, Drury, North Carolina, population about 1,000. Made himself a player, just worked and worked and worked at it. And what a 6th man he is, averaging 11 points a game.
Well, he's from Manson County, and kind of a tough background. And I asked how come he qualifies to get into Duke, and they said he had the highest SATs in the history of the county. SATs mean college boards. For my friends that don't understand out there. Oh, good hands.
And here comes Dawkins.
Give it to Henderson. Now too late. Numbers are right. Numbers are against you. Set up.
Gallery, that's his shot. Out to Dawkins. Gallery thought he'd been fouled after the shot. I don't think you want to get in a shooting contest with this Duke team. There's North Carolina also with a great field goal percentage. Gallery misses 2 in a row, and that's almost headline stuff. 9.5 minutes remaining. Irish down by 11. They cut it as close to 7. Eaton up the paint. Too hard off the glass, but he gets it back. And jump ball is the call.
The arrow is favoring the Golden Dome. Nice hustle with Kempton. Matter of fact, I've watched him 3 times, the 3rd time this year, and I think this is his best game. Watch him stay with it.
Now the Irish trigger it in. David Rivers to Royal. He scores, and the basket is good, and the foul's against Duke.
Notre Dame needed that. That was a big one. Keeps him in the ball game.
These are the first points for Donald Royal.
Don't like man-to-man out of bounds. That's what they did. Got him in trouble. To me, it looked like he charged into the man. But again, who am I?
Dawkins with his 3rd foul. Boy, you really are doing a lot of officiating today. Have you noticed that?
Well, they're good officials out there. I'm not knocking them. I'm just giving people at home a chance to make a decision.
59-51.
I might paint it a little bit, but
Duke by 8. A lot of time. 9-10 left.
I'd lay off Amaker here. I'll lay off the kid from Canada. I'll leave him out there to shoot. Play up on Dawkins. Obviously play Henderson. He wants to shoot. Dawkins wants to shoot.
There's a steal for a moment, and was it saved?
It was good ball.
I thought I heard a whistle there, but there was none. And Duke's Mahar makes it 61-51. Duke seems to be very comfortable sitting on that 10-point lead. They've been in that position 10, 15 times in the game. Rivers. Has to be a little disturbing to Notre Dame because Rivers shoots more than anyone else, that he's shooting under 40% for the year. He's just going to have to improve the shot selection.
Well, with the offense they use, and now he can't penetrate. There's no room for him.
Henderson does, and he's fouled.
The last time down, that ball did not go out of bounds. I guarantee it, because I could see right down the sideline where I am. See that? Did not go out of bounds. Good call by the official. There he is, on the money.
And Dawkins Hustle saving the ball that led to a basket. And now Henderson already over his average, looking for his 13th point. The only thing he doesn't do real well is shoot free throws, 62%.
Notre Dame made a move, but the Blue Devils come right back. And
Notre Dame had it down to 7. And now it's up to 13 for the Blue Devils. And any moment now, with 8 minutes left, Tom McGuire is going to reveal, get the presses ready, his all-time Duke team. Another steal. It's Billis who comes up with a loose ball.
I think Notre Dame needs a timeout, needs to regroup and make one late run. They got time for it, but the clock is starting to become the enemy now. 7:30 left.
Mahar fouled by Royal. Well, I know one guy that will be on that all-time Duke team, and his initials are DG.
I said from 1960. I know who you're talking about. DG was before that. The last 25 years.
All right, Dick Grote will not make it, but certainly the fact that he had his uniform retired, only played 2 years, and still one of the greatest scorers in the history of the university. And you didn't want to go back that far and include him.
Well, not really.
Okay, so 25 years.
From 1960 to now.
Mahar now with a dozen points. Timeout. 7 minutes and 31 seconds remaining, and the Blue Devils have opened their biggest lead of the game, 66-51.
Some make greatness look simple, like superstar Larry Byrne and the Canon T70. Covering Byrne with the simplicity of touch button controls, countering his quickness with automatic film advance. Capturing any shot with the versatility of 3 program modes, the Canon T70. And it's so simple.
Watch the bird.
The Canon T70, it makes the great shots simple.
Next weekend, come on home to college basketball. Saturday at 1 Eastern and Pacific, Olympic All-American Wayman Tisdale leads the Oklahoma Sooners as they take on Kansas. Sunday, doubleheader action when Georgia battles the Kentucky Wildcats. Then Louisville faces the UCLA Bruins. All next weekend on NBC.
James Schuler and James in the Heat Kitchen, middleweights. That'll be for a championship, NABF, and maybe a shot at Marvin Hagler or Hearns. And then it's PKA Championship Karate, followed by the San Diego Open here on NBC, following our basketball coverage. And now, drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Pay attention.
All right, who is your all-time Duke team?
Here comes my all-time Duke team. First guy is from the Big Apple.
Art Heyman.
Yeah, Jeff had a big run in pro.
Jeff Mullins.
The G-Man.
All-time rebounder and scorer. One of the 2 men to have a jersey retired by Duke.
Spinacles, a stockbroker today.
And Bob Berga. And you don't have Dick Grote because he played earlier. And there was somebody,
Banks. I owe an apology to Banks.
Oh, yeah, Banks.
Gene Banks.
And he would have him on that team.
Marin.
Jack Marin.
Yep.
Oh, it was really tough. You must have stayed up late last night studying for that.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
66-51 to score. And out of bounds to Notre Dame. This is an outstanding Duke team, we're saying, and obviously they have shot well most of this year. Only 4 defeats, all within the Atlantic Coast Conference for Mike Krzyzewski.
And they won't give Notre Dame any chippy baskets.
Well, there's a 20-footer, and that's hard-earned.
Yeah, it's hard to win from that far out. They constantly are keeping the middle locked up.
19 for Barlow to lead all scorers.
I don't like to say something here, but in one moment, maybe, Dick, here we go again.
Ooh, Henderson misses inside.
I meant with the mismatch on Dawkins.
Barlow. Again. Does have a nice touch for a 6'9" man, doesn't he?
Bang, bang. But I never liked guys 6'9" having a good touch. I always liked my centers, my big men, not to be able to shoot from 12 feet out. Shoot from 4 feet in. The run has to come now.
It should have been a foul and was on Barlow.
Yeah. It was a touch foul. I think that Allery kind of picked up a second Emmy.
Digger Phelps, now 43. His parents are here today, down from upstate New York, Beacon, New York. Richard and Margaret here to cheer their son. In essence, Digger coming home. Rider College graduate in 1963. Mark Allery.
Boy, he's just all net, Dick.
Brophy Prep out in Scottsdale, Arizona. High school player of the year in the state of Arizona in the Valley of the Sun back in 1982. Migrated east to Durham, North Carolina. Are they glad to have him? Not only all-ACC, he was an all-hunk player in the ACC last year.
Well, you know, it got down to supposedly Notre Dame or Duke.
Well, you mentioned that many of these athletes recruited heavily by both schools. Royal, there's a reach-in foul before the shot.
Yeah, Mayhart turned around. He lost him defensively and hit him. The maple leaf is he's wearing it on his forehead.
He's a tough competitor. In fact, he's Mahar, who was a senior. He was actually thinking about maybe if he stays for a 5th year, going out for the football team as a tight end. At the line, Donald Royal. Royal, who ran into a teammate and thought he'd broken his nose earlier this week and was wearing a guard yesterday in practice, has only 3 points. Good rebound by Phillips. So his work on the boards has been instrumental in this Duke lead. Ball out of bounds to Notre Dame.
The ref on top of the call was blinded, so he had to take the ref's call from the far side.
6 minutes, 16 seconds left. The Irish facing a 12-point deficit as Rivers comes. Underneath, the foul is on whom? Against Duke, apparently.
I missed it, too. It might have been on Allery.
Yeah. Allery's second.
Both teams are in the bonus. Notre Dame needs a run, down 12, but not out of it. And I'm not trying to hold you to the game, but obviously with that much time left, 6 minutes there, they still got an excellent opportunity.
Barlow continues his fine shooting. Junior from Cathedral High School, Indianapolis, their nickname, the Irish. He's been able to go by the same moniker in high school and now in college. He's really made those nets sing, hasn't he?
All right, pressure up court for traps. The guards are too good. Amateur Dawkins just a bit too quick.
Usually that off guard doesn't have that lightning speed, but in this case, Dawkins just as quick as Amaker, isn't it?
Well, see, the first year, Dawkins was the #1 guard. Then when Amaker came along last year, it released Dawkins, allowed him to be more an offensive weapon. Here we go. No shot clock. They'll spread it out a little bit. They'll play high. There'll be nobody on the baseline. Notice no one's on the baseline.
Amaker free for the 12-footer.
Well coached. Mr. K knows what he's doing.
And he played under Bobby Knight at Army and then worked as an assistant with Knight at Indiana a year and then was the head coach at Army himself before finally being hired by Duke University. Rivers. Royal. Battle Royal.
Nice move. He showed me some athletic ability there. He reminded me of the Cape Canaveral, that guy at Maryland.
Len Bias?
Bias, yeah. You know, it's almost like a pro can do. A pro go one-on-one, then all of a sudden climb, launch. Very good. Down the line a little bit, Royal. Maybe you'll be a keeper. You know, he's a good player now, but I'm talking about a real quality player.
But he has good quickness off his feet. And he's only 18 years old as a sophomore. He stays at 5 points on the game, and, well, Duke leads by 10 again.
If he was a football player, they would have redshirted him in high school. That's not a nice statement, but it's a true statement, especially in the state of Texas.
Yeah, there's some disadvantage here. You're 18 years old and already into your sophomore year. I mean, you're just not. He's going to mature and get even better physically. 4:45 left, and Duke is very patient.
Here's the mismatch. He's given a lot of room, but a 10-point spread there. They just can't let Duke score here. But here goes the mismatch.
Oh, Dawkins, what a move behind the back. Allery knocked out of bounds, and a foul is called on Notre Dame. Digger wanted traveling.
Notre Dame foul committed by Matt Beazert.
Beazert with a foul. Now he has one. Krzyzewski, his mother lives in Chicago, native of Chicago, and when Bobby Knight comes to town in Indiana playing Northwestern, then she brings some cookies in exchange for a ticket to the game.
Well, after he graduated from West Point, he put 5 years in the service. I think that's part of the obligation, whether it's the academy or Annapolis, and he was a captain.
Allery, right at his average, 17 a game, 17 today, and very quietly, a solid player. And as a junior, figures to be right there when they name the all-conference team again in the ACC. Barlow. Out to Amaker. Oh, great steal by Rivers as Dawkins saw two the other way. And Dawkins with a foul reaching in. Didn't think so.
Close call, but the ref was right on top of the play. That was quickness on quickness. Watch David Rivers steal the ball on a breakaway that if Dawkins would have got it, would have been a 360 dunk. Now Dawkins comes back. Now let's see if he reaches in. Looked to me like he did reach in. And then David reached in again on Amaker.
At the line then will be David Rivers. The toughest thing that has happened to him at Notre Dame was this weekend, getting tickets for all of his family for this game. He's from a family of 13 here in Jersey City. 13 children. He's 3 for 3 from the line and now looking for his 16th point.
It's hard to imagine that he's a freshman. You look at him and you say, this is a junior. There's a possibility that next year Notre Dame could reach into the top 20. Everyone's back, and they can supplement 1 or 2 spots with freshmen. They'll be tough.
Digger Field has already had 2 or 3 outstanding high school players sign up for next year. Dawkins to Henderson. And he draws the foul.
Dawkins on this move here, he blew by, and then Henderson tried to do a little bit too much with his body, and that's how come he didn't get a good shot up there. But he got fouled.
Royals' 3rd foul. Clock stopped just under 4 minutes. And at the line, David Henderson. Not only did he run 5 miles just to work out in basketball, he drove the school bus after school to help support things. He's a junior. And he describes himself as country strong.
He's the only one. They don't have any facial hair. If you'll notice on his face, he can't shave. And that's why he has some type of irritation. And that's why it looks like he has a beard. Ooh. That was a brick that went in.
Timeout. Duke continues to lead by 10 or more, and we have 3:58 remaining here in the Meadowlands.
All the excitement of college basketball is here when DePaul battles Lou Carnesecca's Redmen of #1 St. John's. Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC.
Yeah, things will be more serious tomorrow than the 2 mascots who are charading now as players. It'll be DePaul and Joey Meyer, and a good team that has had some tough losses of late against St. John's, once beaten, conqueror of Georgetown, and now with a 16-game winning streak at Alumni Hall, and that place will be bursting at the seams tomorrow.
Well, the most important thing, Dick, is Louis' sweater.
Oh, they've written more about that than they wrote about Louis the first 10 years here.
You know, Coach K at the timeout that time was telling his guys, hey, we got 4 timeouts left. If you're caught in a trap or if you got a 5-count, call a timeout. That's giving them what we call a wild card. On national TV games, you're only allowed 4 timeouts, not 5.
Jim Dolan with a short bank shot. Can't get it. And Billis with another rebound. Oh, he has a pick basket full of them. And wide open down court is Henderson. And he's fouled by Royal. Saw that score from the ACC, 44-all. Carolina, North Carolina State in the second half.
That is at State. Normally, if a game's tight, the home team wins. Normally.
Carolina State defeating Duke earlier and rather handily, and Krzyzewski felt when they play the way they did against him, they're as good as any team he's seen all year. He likes Georgia Tech as well. David Henderson now with 15 points.
Notre Dame is now or never. You must score every time down and create some turnovers to stay in this game.
What is interesting, Al, that Duke took an early lead, jumped out of the gate 10-0, and really, while Notre Dame got within 7 a couple of times, Duke has totally controlled this match this year.
Worked the clock, did what they want to do.
Rivers off the mark, but Barlow there.
Oh, that's a basket.
Should have been, as a Duke player was hanging on the rim, but no call. Dawkins the other way, and he's fouled by Price. Disbelief on the face of Digger Phelps.
Now watch the Duke player go up, Billis, and grab the rim. See him grab the rim there, holding it? That's a no-no.
That's going to take more than the 2 they just lost.
But they had to get in rhythm. You know, they had to start.
Dawkins, a good free throw shooter. In fact, the best on the team, nearly 79%, but 1 for 3 today. Under his average, but it doesn't seem that way. His presence has made it mighty difficult on Notre Dame. 14-point lead. 3:16 left.
Nice move by Coach K. Went to a 2-3 zone. Make you shoot from the outside. Won't give you any garbage underneath. Don't want the 3-point play. You're going to have to shoot from outside, fellas.
Henderson almost with a steal. Kempton saves. Kempton tipped out by Duke.
Again, clever play. Keeps us cool. There they are, sitting in the 2-3 zone.
Barlow. Wow.
He's automatic.
24 for Barlow. His all-time high is 25 at Notre Dame.
You just can't turn Duke over. The backcourt is too quick and the baseline is too physical.
You know, the Amateur in the last 4 games, as an example, had only 1 turnover in 121 minutes. And speaking of turnovers,
Amaker just forced that turnover by coming up on David Rivers and left Price hanging in the air, which created a walk. Now watch it. Price turns the ball over. Now once you get it to David, now watch Amaker come in. See that? And that created Price going down for the walk. Good camera work, gang.
George Finkel, our director, David Neal producing here at the Meadowlands.
Yeah, they're spreading out now. The famous North Carolina 4 corners, no clock, 1-on-1. Got 2 great shooting guards from the foul line. This is what you're going to see in the NCAA tournament this year. A lot of teams holding the ball.
Henderson isn't. And it comes back out to Duke. 2 minutes left. Well, we've seen so many good teams, Coach. Amaker, tipped by Billis, controlled by Royal. You think just even last week of what a fine team SMU has. I know they lost again after that North Carolina. I mean, the talent and this Duke team in North Carolina and LSU.
LSU's frightening. Once those freshmen start coming along, Williams and Vargas and the kid from Miami, what was his name, Dick?
Oh, I'm a week
from
away
LSU.
From I remember 6'5" guy.
I think it began with a B, but he was an outstanding ball player. So there's so many. think that I wonder how...
Planton was the...
Planton, that's right, out of Miami, Florida. I wonder how far down the NCAA is going to go inside the conferences. You know, how far down you got to go to get Indiana. Indiana might be 6th or 7th in the Big Ten. You know, how far down do you go to...
the ACC and with the Dukes and the North Carolina State, Georgia Tech. How far do you go with that group?
Oh, I think you go 5. I don't think Virginia or Clemson deserves to be in the NCAA. Wake is kind of marginal. One of my favorite players there, Tyrone Bogues.
Of course, you never talk about Pacific Coast teams. We've noticed that. I mean,
that's because you're
from Mississippi.
You're from the coast.
Well, but gee, you know, you kind of ignore people like Southern California, Washington, Oregon State, Las Vegas.
Is there basketball on the other side of the Mississippi?
Yeah, you wouldn't know it from your picks.
Ooh, I hit a nerve with the doctor.
Well, let's go back to your conference, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yeah, let's talk about them some more.
Everybody has a nerve somewhere. It takes you years to find it.
I just hate to see people totally ignored.
I think Dick Enberg should be the new commissioner of the Pac-10. Oh, we missed a chip in.
Nice tip in and a timeout call by Digger with 1:22 left. And it's 75-67. 27 points for Ken Barlow, his career high at Notre Dame. We'll be back with more of Al and Eastern basketball in just a moment.
Thanks, God, Teddy.
James Schuler, remember him as an Olympian in 1980, going for that championship against James Pynchon, and then the PKA Heavyweight Championship Karate. Always exciting. And then the third round of the San Diego Andy Williams Open out in La Jolla. So stay tuned here on NBC. Now Notre Dame scrapping down to the final buzzer with 1:22 left. They pulled within 8 against Duke. And Digger Phelps formulating his strategy, and here's where he misses. You know, it always comes up and bites you, doesn't it? Scott Hicks and Dan Duff, 2 quick guards that he could use in this situation. They're home with the flu.
What they need is a turnover. They'll try very hard. The only chance they got is to turn the ball over now. They'll start using the clock, keep the pressure up court as hard as they can. Obviously, Dawkins breaks it. Keep it out of Amaker and Dawkins' hands if you can, Notre Dame. I would foul the man right now. 21, I go foul him. Now you can't let the clock disappear here, fellas. You're down 8.
And the clock stopped on the foul by Royal at the 59-second mark, and that should be all for Donald Royal, his 5th. Now, who do you foul? 62% for Henderson, 67 for Billis, the man you said foul, and then after that, it's tough sledding.
I would go in this situation the Price. Has Digger made a move yet? No. He only has 30 seconds to make a move. Let's see who he puts in. He's looking over the bench. Touch Price. Digger.
Oh, you're right again.
Boy, Digger. Net to left.
Bill.
You've had a good year in that regard. You know, like I can see now while the pros are building that you might return to coaching. You've made a lot of, you've been right on a lot.
Oh, return to coaching, wow.
Dawkins looking for his 13th. Johnny Dawkins from Mackin High School in Washington, D.C. Mackin produced Austin Carr and Duck Williams for Notre Dame. Again. How many times has it been just that? Notre Dame down by 10. Barlow having his best scoring day ever with the Irish. Not that time. And Amaker, the smallest Blue Devil on the court, has the rebound. All alone is Mahar. Nice turnaround jumper. That's his shot.
Got to give credit to Amaker. Amaker took David Rivers out of the game.
Duke with such good balance. 4 or 5 men in double figures. Dawkins, a blind pass to Amaker, and a save by Price, who body checks Amaker into the boards.
Okay, don't get so upset. These guys are athletes. They're used to getting bumped around. Fouls would like this move. Jerry Fouls would love this move. Well, didn't follow through on it, sorry.
Henderson is fouled by Price.
All right, now watch Price in this cross-body block. There you go. Amaker goes into a tailspin. Does a flip. Now watch Coach K come running over. Where are you, K?
So the balance for Krzyzewski. Valerie was 17, Henderson 16, Mahar 14, Dawkins 14, Billis 10, 5 men in double figures. And, you know, just how do you defend that Blue Devil team?
What you're talking here, Dick, that Duke is a better ball club than Notre Dame. Notre Dame obviously comes in positive thinking. Dick is a positive thinker. They want to win, but they know everything has to click in. And with the two kids staying at home, Duff and Hicks, they couldn't put pressure up court. Dawkins and Amaker are just too tough. They might be the best set of guards, maybe in Division I.
So you can make a good argument for that. Well, they're brilliant today, Amaker and Dawkins, and it is such an unselfish team. Everyone gets their points. 5 men in double figures, and Henderson now with Allery at 17 for high honors.
You know, surprisingly, Dick Strickland, that's 31 you see there, he's an outstanding freshman. He didn't get much play today.
Down to the final seconds. Rivers, rebound to Bryan, and a foul. That gives us a chance to, thanks to Bob Sly, our statistician today here at the Meadowlands, our executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman, coordinating producer of NBC's basketball, George Finkel. Today's game was produced by David Neal, directed by George Finkel, technical director Jim Marshall, associate director Joe Michaels, associate producer Rick Diamond. Well, Digger wants very much to be in the NCAA tournament, and he's still in search of the big win. This was a chance, but as you've indicated, Coach, the better team has prevailed.
But 64 teams, wow. 64 teams, a lot of clubs.
Jay Bryan misses the free throw at the other end. Jeff Peters misses the layup with 1 second left.
I was saying, Dick, that 64 clubs, you know, you can mention 30, 40 clubs. After you mention 40 clubs in the country, you still got 24 more.
Yeah, but you've got the Daytons and DePauls and people, the independents in that Midwest. We can go out as far as the Midwest, can't we, to include some of those teams that are in consideration. And it's really lean back and enjoy time for Krzyzewski. Barry Spencer, 81-68 with 1 tick left on the clock. Barry Spencer hits a pair. Hey, looking forward, Al, to being with you tomorrow over at Alumni Hall. St. John's and DePaul should be a terrific game. Dick Enberg with Al McGuire. Thank you for being with us. Stay tuned for NBC Sports World Championship Boxing and Championship Karate, and then the 3rd round of the San Diego Open coming up next right here on NBC.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United.